Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another Hangout stream. The reason why we do these Hangout streams is when crazy life things going on and we can't have everybody around. And it is that season. It's
Bentley's traveling.
Yeah, Bentley, we got, some of us got work stuff. Andrew is got some medical stuff.
I had a surgery, so I have to lay down like 99% of the time.
Yeah, and of course, for some other people, it's work stuff, or it's final season for some people. So it is all over the place. But yeah, so that's why we're doing these. But it is sometimes nice to just unwind, have a nice relaxing stream, looking at stuff. All the background music.
Judge people.
Yeah. All the background music. Well, I feel like looking at this also makes us better too. Looking at the homebrew makes our homebrew better because
we realize how bad life could be. But
ours is so much better than all these plebeians.
So all the background music you're going to be hearing is from Tabletop Audio, which is this right here. And if you are so inclined, super generous for the creator to allow us to do that. If you are a creator and you want to use this stuff, I would say go support him on Patreon. He completely deserves it. This guy is ridiculously talented, like insanely.
Honestly,
so.
Even if you're not a creator, if you just want some cool thematic music for your D&D sessions. This guy has so much, and then he's got like cool sections where you can actually go in and like add on audio effects. So it's like, I like this music, but I also want horse hooves in the background. Stuff like that.
Now, if I remember correctly, just so you all know, that sound pad, those sound effects that you can stack on, I don't believe those have the same freedom of use as the full tracks do. If you do use him for streaming. But yeah, support Tabletop Audio. He completely deserves it. He is such a cool creator. We all have I believe we've been including him in the descriptions of our videos, the Tabletop Audio
I don't know off the top of my head, but if we haven't, we will start.
Yeah, well, we can go back and edit the descriptions and throw them in. I remember doing it back in the day, but yeah, so just a shout out to them. Not sponsored, by the way. In fact, I doubt he even knows who we are. I just think he's awesome. This is not a sponsored segment.
But speaking of other stuff, check out our Patreon too.
Yes, if you want to.
If you subscribe to the highest tier, you'll get a permanent discount in our merch store.
Yep. And if it makes you, and if this is a bit more of an incentive, the majority of our funds have been going straight to Erica to make more cool art. So, so if you want to help us feed this wonderful artist, then do that.
Okay,
Otherwise,
turn
she's
off
not
my
getting.
camera real quick.
Otherwise, she's not getting her rations.
It's like one of those old emails. Send this to 3 people, otherwise she'll die.
If for every dollar a month we get for Erica is 2 minutes she gets to spend outside out of the basement that we keep her in.
I've only been allowed 2 minutes so far.
But you liked it, didn't you?
It was great. Everything in moderation, sweetie.
I want to see my ducks again. Dang it!
All right. So yeah, we're just gonna be chilling. Got our drinks. We've got our snacks ready, and we are going to
Got our old lady hobbies.
Yep.
Just me though.
Yeah, so we are going to just be taking it easy. So
We're talking about working on mine too.
Yeah, so you can totally just come chill with us. So, we want to look through more homebrew like we did on this last Sunday. On Sunday, we looked at some subclasses. There were some that were just funny. However, some did have some potential like to do it. And we had a long discussion about what we wanted to review this time. And by long discussion, I mean I asked a question before I finished my sentence. Andrew shouted out monsters.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
And then he said, "Are you sure?" And then Eric went, "Monsters!"
Yep.
So that's
And then he said, "Monsters are magic items," and Andrew and I in unison said, "Monsters!"
Monsters!
So that's what we're going to be looking at. We've already looked at some monsters months and months ago. So rather than just going through like, oh, the top rated and the bottom rated, we'll still go through like the top rated and bottom rated, but we'll go several pages in just to see if anything catches our eye specifically, like anything that looks interesting. So there's not going to
start
be
with the high-rated ones.
Yeah, so we haven't curated these picks or anything. We're just gonna go through and find ones that look interesting and review them.
Yeah.
So what we need to do, we
It'd
need
be kind
to
of boring if we
browse
curated them, honestly.
monsters.
Right.
I mean, it'd be different if we had like one person that would go in, select a few, and then we looked at them. But yeah, if we all three curated, there's no surprise.
Yeah, there's no surprise. It's all fake.
Right.
All
yeah,
right.
so make sure you do advanced filters, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Under the filter button, and and then change it to nothing, and then hit filter.
There we go. All right.
So I'm like, I keep hearing, everyone keeps talking about false hydras, and I want to know more about them, but at the same time, I really don't, because I want to be surprised by one. Because everyone talks about like how scary they are, and I have no idea what it is.
I would say let's avoid the false hydra, because one, like you said, it's been talked to death. It's been absolutely talked to death. But the other thing too is I want to use it. I want to use it in the future.
I feel like I know what it is, but that could just be me hearing the name over and over
I
again.
can show you what the inspiration was from the creator. It's from a Legend of Zelda.
You can close your eyes, Andrew.
Nothing. I want to know nothing.
Okay, you don't have to look. I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know what the inspiration looks like.
So, we have got some pretty interesting looking stuff. We got two Wendigos on this page. One of them labels it as an undead. The other one labels it as a monstrosity. Let's see. So this is page 1. Apparently, the third highest rated is a D&D Beyond user. I am curious. It's challenge rating 0. Let's take a look at this.
Yes. It's also got a -100.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. D&D Beyond user. Medium humanoid, any race, any alignment. Armor class 10, hit points 4, speed 30. Strength 9, Dex 10, Con 10, Int 12, Wisdom 10, Charisma 11. So I think this is just the commoner, the commoner stats.
Because we're all commoners.
It gets a +3 to performance and senses. Dark vision up to 60 feet. The D&D Beyond user spent so much time on the screen that the light of one is permanently implanted in its mind. Passive perception 10. Languages, any one language, usually common. Challenge 0, proficiency bonus +2. Alright. Actions. Fist. +1 to hit, reach 5 feet, it does 1 bludgeoning damage. Alright. Now here is where all the crazy abilities come in. Create homebrew spell. The D&D Beyond user creates a homebrew spell. Everybody in a 30-foot radius is so amazed that they must make a DC 10 Wisdom saving throw or be charmed. Create homebrew monster. The D&D Beyond user creates a homebrew monster. Everybody in a 30-foot radius is so amazed that must make it or be charmed. That's all the abilities are, and they're so amazed that they have to be charmed.
They're all DC 10 Wisdom saving throws.
Just with different names, they're the exact same.
That's great.
10 out of 10. 10 out of
It's like a
10.
burrito.
I want to see what the comments are.
Description: a D&D Beyond user is learned in the arts of D&D Beyond.
One thing, we're generally not found in Arctic, desert, forest, or hill environments.
That's great.
Let's see. Maybe you could,
Oh my gosh, look at the next comment right after that.
which one? My homebrew stuff isn't that good. My charisma is 3.
No, right below the one thing, we're generally not found in Arctic, desert, forest, or hill environments.
True. Just one of us might be.
His name is Cool Thing.
Oh. Oh my gosh. This is a silly. Alrighty, well. Now that we got the joke stuff out of the way, let's look at some actual.
Oh no, it's not out of the way.
It's very in the
At
way.
least as far as I can see, other than Dwayne the Rock Golem Johnson.
That's a good one.
That's great.
I think that is one that we did review the last time.
Yeah, I remember it. I remember bringing it up at least.
What about the Death Shroud, the tiny one? It's a half challenge rating.
Death Shroud.
Half challenge rating?
Yeah, it's a half. It's a tiny construct. It's a half challenge. One and a half.
The death.
I'm not even big enough to be a full challenge.
Oh, the Death
rating.
Shroud tiny. Oh, okay. I see. The Death Shroud.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, Death Shroud large. It looks like it's a swarm in this one up here. Hold on, let's make the tabletop audio a little bit quieter. Death Shroud, tiny. Tiny construct, lawful neutral. Let's read the description before we go in. The Death Shroud is a rare consequence of wayward necromancy from a miscast raised dead spell that leached onto burial cloth. Oh, that is cool.
Oh.
The small scrap of fabric hit by the spell transforms into an awakened creature, which quickly tears itself free, often taking a limb or two with it. This bizarre construct has the uncanny ability to animate and control any corpse it covers, and its collection is ever growing as it follows the aftermath of a typical adventuring party. So it's like a scavenger that follows the adventure party and just collects the corpses.
That's so great.
That reminds me, the Dungeon Dad. He's the one. He does his Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
And he did one. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called like a Poppin' or something like that. And it's animated clothes that makes their victims wear it and controls their victim. But it's just a set of clothing that works like a golem.
Imagine this: you're going against a horde of zombies, but it's just a bunch of corpses, and the real monster is the clothes they're wearing.
Yeah, yeah, that would actually be so cool. Like, could you imagine, like, you go and you cut down the zombie, all of a sudden the cloth wraps around a new corpse, and it gets up.
No, I can't imagine myself hitting a zombie. I wouldn't survive that long.
Strangely, this creature can...
Okay, but Cosmo would.
Okay, yeah, Cosmo would.
Strangely, this creature can develop an accord with adventurers as it leaves trinkets and gold at their campsites as thanks for their contributions.
It's
Oh
like
my
a
God.
crow!
Intelligence increases with its amassing horde. A Death Shroud will crave rarer creatures to add to its collection and may make specific requests for the party. Large shrouds have an uncanny knack for gleaning lost memories from the dead and will happily trade valuable informations and spells for a pristine corpse. That
Can
is
we keep
awesome!
Can we keep it? I want it!
Okay,
Ah!
adding to collection, but the description
I
alone
want it.
So
is
this
just...
is how
Oh,
action
gosh.
heroes clean up bodies.
I
Okay.
love that so much.
All right, let's see.
It sounds like a crow.
All right, let's see.
Great.
Death Shroud, tiny construct, lawful neutral, has an AC of 12, hit points of 22, and a speed of 10 feet. So it's really slow. Probably when it is not. Only when it is.
Probably scoots along.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. I think it's Death Shroud depending on the size of the thing it's animating. the size of the thing is wrapped around. So you get the Death Shroud large up here.
Oh, yeah.
So might be able. Let's see. So it's immune to poison and psychic. That's standard for constructs. Oh wait, let's go through the stats. 13 strength, 14 dex, 11 con, 12 int, 10 wisdom, 8 charisma. All right, so just pretty standard.
Average. Yep.
It is immune to being blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, or poisoned. Has a blind sight of 60 feet and is blind beyond that radius. A passive perception of 6. Common, but it cannot speak, so it probably needs a head to speak.
Yeah.
Well, even then, it just moves the head. It doesn't actually, like, absorb it. And
Yeah,
make
but
the
later
person
it's
move.
able to speak, I think.
It will happily trade
how
valuable
else-
information and spells for a pristine corpse. So maybe this specific stat block can't because it's not animating something that it could speak.
Yeah.
Right.
It said a limb or two
Yeah,
being
so-
taken with it,
yes,
not
so
a head.
No, nope. I just figured out how it does it.
Yeah. So let's read the traits.
Yeah,
and we'll
just
see.
keep reading through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just figured it out.
So, anti-magic susceptibility. The shroud is incapacitated while in an area of anti-magic field. If targeted by dispel magic, the rug must succeed on Constitution saving throw against the caster's spell save DC or fall unconscious for 1 minute. This is awesome.
That's cool.
Maybe.
Earn
No.
immunity. Undead under the domination of a death shroud are immune to effects that turn undead. That's also good because it's not actually an undead. It's basically
Yeah.
puppeteering the corpse, like physically.
Yep, it's just a
Yeah.
dead body that is moving around.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is giving me. This is gonna be in Duskin Wield.
I love it so
Yeah.
much.
I love that.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Innate spellcasting. The Death Shroud's innate spellcasting ability is intelligence. The Death Shroud can innately cast spelling spells requiring no components. At will, Mage Hand, and it is invisible. Twice a day, each speak with dead and magic mouth. Oh, okay, that's
How
probably-
it does it.
Yep.
Magic mouth.
And once a day, animate dead, and it's indefinite control of created undead. And then it gets amassing swarm. After a Death Shroud successfully animates a humanoid corpse, its size increases to medium, and it gains an additional 8 hit points. Once 10 corpses fall under the Death Shroud's control, its size increases to large, and it uses the Death Shroud large stat block, which we can look at up here.
Yep.
And then actions. Melee weapon attack. +3 to hit, reach 5 feet. One target takes 1d4 plus 1 bludgeoning or slashing damage, and it is the choice of the claw or the DM. Just depends on what the corpse is. And then slam, medium size only. So this is when it has a corpse.
I would say medium or large.
Huh?
I would assume that it's medium or large can do the slam.
Well, no. Large has its own stat block, which is up here. It gets a whole new stat block when it's large. So all this goes away and is replaced by this, which we'll look at in a second. But yeah, and 1d6 bludgeoning damage. So yeah, pretty standard for a zombie, but the flavor of this is incredible.
Someone wrote a short story in the comments.
All right. Let's see. Short
I love
story
that.
written by Kada Michael.
Dude, you gotta do a voice for it.
I was about to, man. Calm down.
So needy.
Last night my mother brought home a rather strange bit of cloth. It is finely made, no larger than a hand towel. I need not ask where she got it from. I already know. She stole it from a former employer, and a strange wizard who was incapable of keeping any amount of space clean for long. She knows I do not care for such unlawful acts, but says the crime is victimless, what with the wizard having passed. I know it's just her nature to save and leave nothing to waste, but I can't help but feel that what belongs to the dead should not be taken from them. I would normally complain, but found myself unable to. My dear mother dotes heavily on the thing and has taken to using it on all manner of housework with a smile and a hum. So enamored by it that she fails to notice the mess she leaves in her wake. Drawers and cupboards left open, knives left out near edges, cans left forgotten on the floor. I fear there is more at work than mild forgetfulness brought on by the joy of a new instrument for work. I did not sleep well last night, and I fear it may have saved my life. Whilst I lied in bed last night, unable to sleep, I swear I heard movement from the other room. I wasn't too worried or curious, thinking that it would only distract me from focusing on getting to sleep. That was, of course, before I heard the thud. Now that was enough to give me good reason to investigate. Groggy and nowhere near right of mind, I made my way through the house in search of the source of the disturbance. It was in the living room where I found it. A small table ornament had fell and was now broken. I cleaned the small mess it had made and was about to return to the struggle of getting to sleep when I made an odd discovery. The front door was open. Not much, just a little crack. But it was indeed open. After understanding the implications such a discovery would have, I then proceeded to turn the house over, every nook, every cranny. All the silverware, all the valuables. After a thorough search of the premise, I came to discover that we had no uninvited guests hiding anywhere and no missing valuables. After double checking all the doors in the house were closed and locked, I returned to my room. From what I gather, someone had broken into our home, with some foul intent no doubt, and knocked the ornament over, prompting me to investigate and scaring the would-be thief, or worse, into leaving empty-handed. I did not sleep after that. Well, not intentionally. I planned to stay awake just in case and explain the mess to the others, but found myself passed out a little later. Woke up getting an earful from Mother about making such a mess the night before. Argument was justified, but I did take joy in the changes in her expressions when I recounted the events of that evening. She apologized for giving me the lecture, and I agreed to help clean up. I wish she apologized for entering unannounced like she did. I mean, it's not like I left my bedroom door open last night. Last excerpt of a commoner's journal before they went missing. Presumed dead. Body never found.
Oh.
It's them cloths.
This is genius. I
love it, I added it to my collection.
I have no complaints about this. I don't think there is an improvement to be made on that.
I agree.
That's just
amazing
beautiful.
right out the gate.
All right, now where's the Death Shroud medium? Because there's the large.
No. This one turns into the medium.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When it does Amassing Swarm.
I see. And then the large is its own thing. All right.
Oh, dang. It gets way stronger at large.
Wait, so do the description first?
Description.
All right, no, it's the same. It's the
is
same.
the exact same thing.
All right.
So, AC is still 12, but rather than 12 hit points, it has 112 hit points.
Oh, dang.
Its speed
a
is
large
20 feet.
Swarm of medium undead.
Yeah. So it's puppeteering a bunch of them. Strength 18, Dex 14, Con 16, Int 14, Wisdom 10, Charisma 8. It gets a +6 to Con saves. It is immune to poison and psychic. Same immunities. Same blind sight, but the passive perception is a bit better at 10 instead of 6.
Yep.
This one can just speak. It can just speak common.
Dude, like hive mind. What should be like hive mind?
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I mean, it has to be because it's all under the same entity.
Yeah.
All right, so we got traits. The same anti-magic susceptibility, so it falls unconscious with the anti-magic. Now this one, immutable form. The Death Shroud is immune to any spell or effect that would alter its form.
Love it.
All right. Damage transfer. While it is grappling a creature, the Death Shroud takes only half the damage dealt to it and the creature grappled by the shroud takes the other half. Ooh,
Oh,
that's cool.
Cool.
that's
Swarm.
fun.
The undead swarm beneath the death shroud can occupy another creature's space and vice versa. And the swarm can move through any opening large enough for a small humanoid. The swarm can't regain hit points or gain temporary hit points.
Okay.
Alrighty, so yeah, in order to heal, it has to get more corpses. It has to replace the bodies that get destroyed. Turn immunity. Oh, we already saw that. Immune to that. And then same spells.
Yep, same spells.
Alright, actions. It gets multi-attack.
I like how the animate dead, though, it gives them indefinite control of created undead.
Yeah, yeah. And it can only do one a day, so you can't just have it be on a battlefield and infinitely do
Right.
that. It has to slowly amass its collection. Alright, multi-attack. The Death Shroud makes 3 attacks. 3 slams or 1 smother and 2 slams.
Okay.
So you get the slam, +5 to hit, reach 0 feet. 1 target in the swarm space. So it has to... I like that. It has to
Occupy
the same space. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun.
It does
I like that.
it does 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning damage or 1d8 plus 4 bludgeoning damage if the swarm has half of its hit points or fewer. That's pretty standard for a swarm type.
It gets
enemy.
weaker over time.
Yeah. And then smother, +5 to hit, reach 5 feet. 1 medium or smaller creature. Hit. The creature is grappled, escape DC 14. Until this grapple ends, the target is restrained, blinded, and at risk of suffocating.
It like mummifies them.
Yeah.
Ah.
And the Death Shroud can't smother another target. In addition, at the start of each of the target's turns, a target takes 2d6 plus 4 bludgeoning damage.
I love that.
That is...
That's great.
Oh my gosh. Jess Jackdaw. You are amazing at this. You should... Like, you could turn this into an actual job. Like, you should, like, apply for, like, freaking Ghostfire Gaming or one of the other guys. Or, you know, because, like, your monster creating talents are top notch. All right. Because those were so good, I see some other Jess Jackdaw monsters on here. Can we look at them all, please?
Yeah.
Like, that's just awesome. All right. Just top to bottom?
Sure.
All right. Well, this is Jess
Tatzel
Jackdaw's...
worm.
Yeah, this is Jess Jackdaw's highest rated monsters, the Tatzel Worm. All right.
Challenge rating 4.
Challenge rating 4. So let's see. Herein is the unfortunate circumstance of the Tatzel Worm, a creature with gleaming dark scales, deep sanguine red eyes, hooked talons, and a tender heart. Aww.
Ah.
These draconic shadow cats reside in frigid times
Interesting.
close to human settlements and often form a mutual bond with its inhabitants. The Tatzel
bless.
Worm, acting like an oversized Saint Bernard,
I love it.
protects travelers from the dangers of the frozen waste, while the town in turn provides food offerings and small shelters for the guardian beast. So it's like a cat. It shows up and just like, this town is mine now, and I will protect it. It's just...
Baby!
Adventurers may find on their path towards a Tatzel-warded town rudimentary shrines that are mildly indicative of enlarged doghouses and flayed game dangling from hooks hung on trees. Should a party find themselves overwhelmed deep in cold lands, a Tatzel might carry them to the warmth of its den, but let's hold out hope that the group does not judge a beast by its dark scales. By that description alone, I'm adding it. Jess, you are a master.
I love this. I love this.
All right,
creature.
let's see what it does. So it is a large dragon, lawful good. I'm curious. I'm gonna click on it. I want to view details page. I just want to see if they included any artwork. Okay, there's none. All right, well, let's see. An AC of 16, hit points of 51, speed of 50. So pretty similar, a bit beefier than like a normal saber-tooth tiger, I believe. I think it's around the same hit points, but yeah. 18 strength, 15 dex, 16 con, 8 int, 12 wisdom, 7 charisma. +3 to perception, +4 to stealth. It is immune to cold damage. Passive perception to 13. Speaks draconic.
Cool.
Alright, let's see what traits it has. It's got keen hearing and smell. The Tatzelworm has advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing or smell. Ooh. And it gets pack tactics. The Tatzelworm has advantage on attack rolls against a creature if at least one of the Tatzelworm's allies is within 5 feet of the creature and the ally isn't incapacitated. So not another Tatzelworm, an ally. So a village warrior that it's protecting, it gets pack tactics. That's awesome.
Great.
I love that.
Alright. And then it gets multi-attack. The Tatzelworm makes 2 attacks, one with its bite and one with its claws. Its claw gets a +6 to hit, reach 5 feet, and it does 1d6 +4 slashing damage, plus 1d6 cold damage. Really good.
Nice.
Frostbite. I see what you did there. +6 to hit, reach 5 feet. On a hit, it does 2d6 +4 piercing damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed a DC 13 Constitution saving throw, or take 1d6 cold damage and has disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn.
Nice.
Neat.
That's so cool.
It also gets a breath weapon.
Recharge of 5 or 6.
Recharge of 5 to 6, and it gets paralyzing breath. The Tatzelworm exhales paralyzing gas in a 15-foot cone. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 13 Constitution saving throw or be paralyzed for 1 minute. A creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. That's incredible.
Nice.
I have zero complaints about this.
I
This is
love
amazing.
it.
Okay.
Voting up.
Now one of the things that I see really commonly with a lot of people, not so much here at the top ranges, but one thing I noticed when looking at the lower rated stuff, a lot of people, when they make monsters, they want to make, it's the same thing with subclass, they want very powerful things. So we're talking really powerful that no party would reasonably be able to withstand without some serious prep, things like that. And we're talking like evil monsters and all this stuff, where if you look at the top, you get cool things like this. It's like, yeah, this thing is a stat block, it's a monster, but it's not meant to be an enemy unless your party is a piece of crap.
Right?
And so
everybody likes the wholesome ones.
Yeah, this is a like
so cute.
Like this is
So
just
So well written, too.
Yeah, and it's very well written. The description is really good.
Like, if you said that this just was in a D&D book, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Alrighty.
More.
We
More
got
just jacked off.
the clot fly. Let's see.
Quarter challenge rating.
Yep, quarter challenge rating. Description: illness was once seen as a supernatural affliction of the body. Any symptoms which are merely manifestations of the unseen, weaving their evil work through the veins of mortality. But what if these pathogens actually emerged in dramatic magical ways we once imagined? Arising from these dark threads is the clot fly, a sickening fiend of pestilence that spreads through the blood of its victims.
Ew. That's like the other side of the great.
Yeah, using its sharp proboscis, it stabs into a warm-bodied creature and leaves behind a parting gift, even if it's extinguished. The victim, suddenly overwhelmed with nausea, becomes a carrier for the clot fly to spread. Should the host blood meet the air while infected, the spray will form into a new clot fly.
Dude, it's like a freaking parasitic mosquito.
Yeah, it's like bot flies almost. Imagine, except they cut out the middleman of the mosquito. Imagine, if you will, fair dungeon master, the nightmarish scenario of an infected ogre slashed deftly by a fighter, only to have the wound spawn a new friendly face to exterminate. How dreadful indeed. All right, let's see. Has an AC. It is a tiny aberration. It has a 14 AC, 6 hit points, a speed of 10 feet or a 40-foot fly, 4 strength, 16 dex, 15 con, 2 int, 10 wisdom, and 4 charisma. And it has a dark vision of 60 feet, passive perception of 9, and a proficiency bonus +2. Now, it has one action. Blood Curdle. +5 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 creature. It does 1d4 +3 piercing damage if the target is a humanoid and must succeed on a DC 14 Constitution saving throw or be infected with a disease. Blood Phage. While infected, the host starts to feel unwell and its speed is halved. When the host's blood is spilled by receiving piercing or slashing damage, the spray of infected blood gives birth to 1d4 clot flies that spawn 5 feet from the host. The effect triggers only once per round. Okay.
How do you get rid of it?
Alright, so yeah.
Your disease.
Burn it! Burn them all!
Lay on hands. Lesser
Okay,
restoration.
Yep.
Fireball.
Lay on the hands, lesser restoration. Now, one thing I would do. So this is one we can actually do. That question you brought up is the only thing I would add. Say you can repeat the saving throw maybe like once a day. So that way it lingers.
Right. You can make the save at dawn each day.
Yeah. You can make this. Yeah, you can make the save once a day. That is the one thing I would add to it. Other than that, this is awesome. This is so cool.
Either that, or you just have it and you have it until
you
get lesser restoration, or
a lay on hands.
Lay on hands, or anything that cures disease.
That's kind of what this is implying. So I'd say leave that up to the DM.
Yeah. I love it. Oh my gosh. You can do some awesome body horror with this.
This is so cool.
Get the whole team
my
infected.
gosh. Jess Jackdaw, what are you on? I want some. You're incredible at this. This is just the Jess Jackdaw glazing stream.
I say we add these to our campaign too. I love these.
I've added them to the collection, and once the importer on Foundry, goes up, then we're pretty much good. Yeah, so we got that. All right, so
Quatling.
The Quatling. It is a tiny celestial. Is a
Sounds rating 1.
Hold on, I want to see. Oh, it's a Quaddle. It's these guys.
Oh yeah.
It's a tiny version. It's like a hatchling of these guys. These guys are so cool.
Yeah, I love those guys.
All right. So, with few pricks of its egg tooth, the small winged serpent was free. It waited expectantly for its divine insight to come for it to be given purpose, but its only gift was silence. Its mother coiled limply around the nest, expended all of her essence before her right could be passed down, and the Quatling was left aimless in a dangerous world. Oh, okay. So it's like it just didn't receive its divine purpose.
Yeah.
Being small, easy targets for hungry fiends, orphan Quatlings use their mother's skull as a dramatic, fear-evoking display using flashing eye spots at the base of its wings. Newly hatched Quatlings are typically a dull brown to assist in camouflage and will brighten over several centuries. These young divine serpents will actively seek out companionship with good-natured individuals and make excellent familiars for celestial warlocks. Quatlings hope that with their partnership they will finally find the right path towards their righteous purpose. Well, I know what I'm putting in that egg Wayne found now. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I have a plan for it. I think you're gonna like.
I honestly forgot we had it.
Not me.
I
got a magic stone and an egg.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like what's in it.
I'm gonna infuse them together.
Oh.
That's a floating egg.
It'll be just rock.
All right. So it is a tiny celestial, lawful good. Has an AC of 13, 11 hit points, 20-foot walk, 40-foot fly. It's got 6 strength, 16 dex, 14 constitution, 10 intelligence, 2 wisdom, and 14 charisma. Gets a +3 to insight, +4 to intimidation, +4 to persuasion, +5 to stealth. It is resistant to radiant and physical attacks from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. It is immune to psychic, dark vision up to 120 feet, passive perception of 11. It speaks all languages and has telepathy of up to 120 feet.
Nice.
Now, let's see. Its traits. It's got Shape Changer. The Quatling can use its action to polymorph into a beast form that resembles a giant fire beetle, speed 30 feet, hawk, 20-foot walk, 60-foot fly, or a lizard, 20-foot walk, 20-foot climb, or back into its true form. Its statistics are the same in each form except for the speed changes noted. Any equipment it is wearing or carrying isn't transformed. It reverts to its true form if it dies.
Okay.
Innate spellcasting. The Quatling's spellcasting abilities: Charisma, Spell, Save DC 11. It can innately cast the following spells requiring only verbal components: Detect Magic, Cure Wounds, and Sanctuary.
Once per day.
Once a day each. And
nice.
Shield
Which
in
would be
Mind.
nice to have as a warlock.
Yeah. And then Shield in Mind. The Quatling is immune to scrying and to any effect that would sense its emotions, read its thoughts, or detect its location.
Nice.
Actions. It gets a bite, +5 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1d4 piercing damage, and the target must make a DC 11 con save, taking 3d6 poison damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. So that is exactly...
Like an imp.
That is exactly as strong as an imp. So this one actually...
It's meant to be
Yeah,
a
this is
familiar.
this is balanced as a familiar. This is really well balanced.
I love it.
Yeah. And then it's got Scare once a day. One creature of the Quatling's choice within 20 feet of it must succeed a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw or be frightened for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns with disadvantage if the Quatling is within line of sight. Anything the effect on itself on a success. This is
Awesome.
amazing.
I love it.
I'd
Play a celestial warlock just to have
if
this
it was a
as my
celestial
familiar.
warlock, or if you were a cleric that somehow got a familiar, this would be really cool. But most likely celestial warlock is like the only one that would really work for it, baked into the class.
Right.
Too bad I'm the opposite.
Hey, you got that, and then
Or if you know I was like a divine soul sorcerer or something like that,
yep.
that might work.
Well, the main thing is warlocks specifically have a thing that buff the Find Familiar in order
I
to be
know.
able to attack. Only warlocks get that. But there is one more just Jackdaw, and it looks like it is a gnoll. A type of gnoll called Wild Mange.
Ooh.
So,
I know what mange is.
in the wake of the spell plague, where the weave of magic was all but snuffed out, there lingered pockets of destructive wild magic that tainted the land and creatures like a radioactive poison. Born from this toxic and twisted magic, the Wild Mange is a creature torn between planes, clawing its way through the realms through aberrant bursts of teleportation. It thirsts for stable magic to tether it to the material plane and will feed on the spell slots of its victims. Whoa!
Interesting.
Symptoms of a Wild Mange incursion include wayward objects glitching into walls, as well as nearby creatures appearing to lag or repeat actions in real time. Spellcasters that manage to escape the jaws of a hungry Wild Mange might find their spells tainted by wild magic. If your faithful wizard receive multiple lacerations from this glitched fiend, they might experience subtle cravings for magics that progress into fits of madness and finally full metamorphosis.
That's
The curse of the
great.
Wild Mange is one of the most dangerous forms of lycanthropy,
Oh.
which can best be surmised as teleporting glitch wolves that explode with deadly strobing light. Best of luck, adventurers! Adventurers, come your next long rest.
Oh,
Already
yeah.
adding that. I love Jess. Your descriptions are so good. On the incredibly unlikely things, that Jess, you see these, this stream. Or any futurists where you see your things. If you want to reach out to D-Fourtress, eventually, once we, actually have funds, expendable funds and stuff, if you want to, I don't know, help us make monsters for some of the books that we plan on making,
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
I would
You
totally
get
pay you
money
for that.
and get to see cool art of the monsters you make.
All right, well, let's look at the actual stat blocks. So it's medium humanoid, null shape changer, chaotic evil. It gets a 14 to AC, 58 hit points, and a speed of 30. 15 strength, 14 dex, 14 con, 10 int, 11 wisdom, 10 charisma. It gets a plus 4 to dex saves, and it is immune to physical damage from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. It has a dark vision of up to...
Immune to it, not resistant.
Yes.
Immune.
Dark vision
That's awesome.
of up to 60 feet and a passive perception of 14. It knows common and undercommon. Has a proficiency +2, challenge rating 4. Now let's take a look at its traits. It's got rampage. I believe all gnolls get this, or a lot of gnolls get this. Is when the wild mage reduces a creature to 0 hit points with a melee attack on its turn, the wild mage can take a bonus action, move up to half of its speed, and make a bite attack. Yep, some gnolls can do this. Shape changer. The wild mage can use its action to polymorph into a creature, humanoid, hybrid, or back into its true form, which is humanoid. Its statistics other than its AC are the same in each form. Any equipment it's wearing or carrying isn't transformed. It reverts to its true form if it dies. Curse of the Wild Mage. When a spellcaster is under the effects of Wild Mage lycanthropy, each spell they cast while cursed triggers a wild magic surge. Every single cast, you get wild magic surge.
That's awesome.
All right, actions. Mad multi-attack. Roll 1d4 at the beginning of each of the wild mage's turns and determine how many attacks it can make each round. Using this pool of actions, the wild mage can attack in the following ways. Bite. +4 to hit. Reach 5 feet. 1 target, 2d4 +2 piercing damage if the target is humanoid. It must succeed on a DC 12 Constitution saving throw or be cursed with wild mage lycanthropy. Spell Scythe. Melee weapon attack, +4 to hit, reach 5 feet. It does 1d6 +2 slashing damage. On a hit, wild mage drains 1 spell slot of the target's lowest level available and regains 2d4 +4 hit points. So it works its way up. So that's pretty balanced, because taking spell slots is really strong, but if it has to start with the weakest ones, then it's a bit more balanced.
Yep. The fact that it gains hit points off of it is awesome.
And I like how it's random how many times it can attack too.
Because it's glitching.
Yeah, this looks like, as a dungeon master, this looks like it'd be so much fun to play. Let's see, it's got scintillating strobe. The wild mage emits a blinding array of colors. Any creature within 5 feet of the creature must succeed on a DC 12 wisdom saving throw or become stunned until the end of the victim's next turn. So you're stunned until the end of your next turn. That's pretty strong. Pretty strong. This looks like a cool low-level boss monster. Even a mid-level boss monster, honestly. Shock Step. The wild mage teleports up to 60 feet. Immediately after it disappears, the terror in reality bursts, and each creature within 10 feet of the space the wild mage formerly occupied must make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw, taking 2d6 lightning damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful save. That is awesome.
That's so cool.
I like that.
And it has a special reaction. Chaotic Crescendo. When the wild mage is reduced to 0 hit points, it explodes. Each creature within 15 feet of the wild mage must make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw, taking 2d10 lightning damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. When the wild mage is reduced to 0 hit points, roll once on the sorcerer's wild magic table and proceed with the following effect. Optional variant. When the optional variant, when the wild mage is reduced to 0 hit points, roll on the sorcerer's wild magic table and proceed with the following effect. That is...
So it's like without the lightning damage.
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. Could you imagine? We downed it. A fireball is cast on your position.
Oh gosh.
That is. This looks like it would be so much fun to play as the dungeon master. Like this looks like it would just be fun.
I feel like the challenge rating should be a little bit higher than it is.
Well, here's the thing. It's random how many times it can attack. And it's only got 58 hit points with a 14 AC, and it only has a walking speed of 30. So you can kite this thing around, all that. Because, keep in mind, so with a challenge rating of 4, this could be a boss monster for a party of 4 level 4s.
Yeah.
So one of these is supposed to be on par, which I think that's fair. Because regardless of, depending on the attacks it chooses, and as long as the dice are in your favor, it's not that hard to hit. A level 4 Rakos, Ghost, and Badger, they'd hurt, but they could take this thing on and probably down it within 3 to 4 rounds.
I love that. I love the curse, though.
Yeah.
And it is a curse, not a disease, which means you'd have to use remove curse to remove it.
Yep.
And every time they cast a spell, it will trigger a wild magic surge. I love that. That sounds like so much fun.
So much chaotic fun.
And that is all of Jackdaw's on page 1 at least.
The fact that they have so many on page 1 is awesome.
Yeah. There was one more on this page I wanted to look at, which was the Ale Ooze.
I was just barely looking at that one.
Made by Front Butt. Alright.
That is a great name.
Here we go. The description. Left in an urban environment such as a dwarven stronghold or human city, oozes must learn to adapt. These oozes have taken the appearance and taste of ale. When it moves, it runs like ale, but it stays as consistent stream and never breaks apart. An ale ooze may wait patiently for food, drawing in those drunkards with its intoxicating vapors. Once the ale ooze is in the stomach of a creature, it will attack the creature. I think it's supposed to say it will attack the creature till it stops moving, feasting on its corpse. To any investigator, it seems like the person may had too much to drink that night. AC of 9, 10 hit points, speed of 10 feet, strength 12, dex 8, con 10, 1 int, 8 wisdom, 14 charisma. Resistant to acid, immune to cold. It's immune to being blinded, charmed, deafened, exhausted, and prone. Blind sight 25 feet and passive perception of 9. Doesn't speak and proficiency +2.
Yeah, I thought it was just gonna go the direction. Oh, it eats the contents of your stomach and then it makes you throw it up. Because
That would be pretty neat.
That's also something common, but it went full on. Oh yeah, it's eating your corpse from the inside out, which is just as good, but surprised me.
It will go and eat your kidneys and your liver and
just all the good parts. I mean, granted, some of them are ruined, but you know, it's okay with that.
So it gets false appearance. While the ooze remains motionless, it is indistinguishable from an ordinary mug of ale. Quench their thirst. When the ale ooze starts its turn with a target creature restrained, the creature must make a DC 13 strength saving throw. On a failed save, the ooze forces itself into the target creature to rest in its stomach. At the end of each of the creature's turns, the creature make a DC 11 Constitution saving throw to vomit up the L ooze, taking 1 acid damage on a successful save.
There we go.
There you
There
go.
it is.
That's how you save against it.
Yeah.
And Stomach Home. When an L ooze starts its turn within the stomach of a creature, it will immediately take 1d4 acid damage.
Wait, the creature will? Or
No. The creature that it swallowed it.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Let's see. All right.
that
Pseudopod.
sounds like the normal alcoholic experience, I guess.
Pseudopod. Normal for oozes. +3 to hit. Reach 5 feet. 1d4 plus 1 bludgeoning damage. And make a DC 13 strength saving throw or be restrained for 1 round. The creature automatically succeeds if the ooze is within the creature. Oh, so it can still bludgeon you from the inside, too. Oh. And it's got intoxicating vapors. Recharges after a long rest. Enter the LU. Then the LU sublimates its ale into a vapor that fills a disc centered on the LU's 10 feet in radius and 5 feet thick. All creatures in the area are
10 feet in radius, 5 feet thick? What does
I don't
that
know.
mean?
All creatures in the area are affected by either the Calm Emotion spell or the Confusion spell save DC 13. The effect for each creature is chosen at random. 1d4, 1 to 2 is Calm Emotions, while 3 to 4 is Confusion. Okay. So, my one thing, this is great. Just clear up the language a little bit and you've got yourself something solid.
Yep.
Couple parts are a little unclear. Yeah. Just tidy up that text. Alrighty. I think with that, we can go and look at some of the low-rated ones. But before we do that, gotta take a quick couple minute break, probably about 5 minutes, just so I can run to the restroom.
Sounds good.
Be back in a sec. All right, we are. Oh, there we go. Now we're back. Okay.
Hello, my name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff. Alrighty, so we looked at some of the best ones, and these were like really good. I'm just curious to see if page 2. Oh, yep. Page 2 has got more Jess Jackdaw. That is.
I want to
Not
see what else
surprising.
Just Jackdaw has made.
Well, let's see. There's
On another day.
Yeah, there's Camp Briar, Sentinel. Yeah.
Let's look at some bad rated monsters.
Alrighty. Let's do it. Okay. Gonna inverse that rating. Go back to page 1. Now I know we've looked at Aphrodite.
We did look at Aphrodite already?
Yeah, we looked at a lot of these.
I want to read Death again. Let's read Death again. That was my favorite one.
Oh boy.
I love it so much.
Gargantuan swarm of gargantuan beasts, chaotic evil. Armor class 6,666 infinity scales. Hit points 6,666. Or let's see.
6,666,666
D20 plus 6,666. I don't think this guy knows how dice averages work. It's got 30 and everything across the board. It gets.
Wait, you gotta do speed.
Oh, it's speed. 50-foot walk, 5,000, fly 5,000 feet. Can also walk, but enjoys flapping its wings while sending a shockwave of air to knock down some extra trees.
I feel like the cap sat on the 6.
Skills. Intimidation, plus 13,332. Everything was 666 until then.
Mm-hmm. Until the walk speed.
Damage resistances. All. Damage immunities. Literally everything.
Wait,
Its only weakness
Yes.
is love.
just read some of it. Just read it out loud. Trust me.
Acid. Bludgeoning, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic, piercing, poison, psychic, radiant, slashing, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't adamantine. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. Piercing and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't adamantine. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from metal weapons. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't adamantine or silvered.
Just off repeat. I love it so much. All right, keep going.
Condition immunities: blinded, charmed, deafened, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, incapacitated, invisible, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned, and unconscious.
It can't go invisible. That sucks for it.
Yeah. I'd say it's pretty underpowered.
Yeah, honestly.
The way you're responding to all this, Andrew, it feels like you're having us read something that you made as a kid.
I know. I love it. This is definitely made by a 6-year-old, and I love it.
Senses: dark vision, 60 foot. Unknown: it knows what you are thinking. Passive perception: 1 billion.
Wow.
Languages: all you hear it through your thoughts. Ignan all.
Yeah, you hear that?
Challenge 30. Proficiency bonus +9.
All the other ones are just super insane. 9.
Traits: extremely powerful and almost invincible. Actions: slap with 2 P's. It slaps you with its claw, sweeping you from the face of the planet you are on.
Boom.
Reactions: you might be able to kill it. Legendary actions: instant beam, launches a beam of pure death. Description: a massive shadow lurking somewhere. You fear you are going to die. Lair and lair actions. It hides in plain sight. How?
I just love the fact too that it's like I should just stop for a sec and just all right. My walk speed is 50 foot, and then starts flapping. Just boom. God.
Oh my gosh. Almost a mile in 6 seconds. Well.
All right, let's see.
So you'll notice a lot of these low rated ones are almost all really high challenge ratings. Like super. Yeah, like super high challenge ratings. So I feel like a lot of these are rated
By the way, it
low.
can fly at 567 miles per hour. That's how fast it can fly.
Oh my gosh.
Almost 568.
The G-Force must be crazy.
So yeah.
Oh, someone in the comments got a good point. It's not immune to the wish spell. I
wish you weren't overpowered.
I wish you were a normal guy named Steve.
Oh man.
Oh, I love that one so much.
I feel like a lot of these overpowered ones or, you know, higher rating ones are down here because realistically a DM is not going to be able to throw this at their...
Yeah,
you know.
realistically it's unplayable because of how strong they are.
Exactly.
All right, let's go.
Like-
Let's go to like page 3 then. Let's see what we got.
Page
on
3, you got it. Okay.
there. This is Alward, the principal.
Hmm.
Ew.
Yeah. Almost every
Alien Assassin Super Commando? What?
almost everything is challenge rating 30. That's yeah.
Alien dragon.
Yeah, a lot of these are just the challenge rating is just so high that they're unplayable. That's the biggest thing. It's like people got to tone it down.
There's an ATM.
Oh my gosh.
Look on the ATM.
I just see fat. And then right above it, everything. So it
The
reads everything fat.
The ATM has 20 AC and 1,000 hit points, and its traits it says, "I ATM, I God." The actions are coin attack. The ATM auto hits a creature with a platinum piece and heals 1d4. Reactions: if the ATM is hit, then it sprays 10d100 platinum pieces at whoever hit it.
Okay. Here's the thing. You gotta give us damage.
Yeah.
And 10d100 is...
Also, what does the God thing mean? It's just a way to get
Yeah.
infinite money.
Yeah, it's like... I want to go through, but all of these are just... Like... I feel like some of these aren't, like, worth going into. Because it's like, if you're making challenge rating 30 monsters, and that's, like, all that's here, you're kind of already a lost cause. A little bit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Alright, how about this one? On page...
What about this?
5.
What about this abyssal archer?
On what page?
Page 3.
Page 3. Abyssal Archer. Alright, ready.
All right. The Abyssal Archer can be confused with the Green Goblin, but has one big difference: the type of weapon. Each Abyssal Archer holds its own unique bow it found or crafted. They have dark green hair, light green skin color, and wears brown twine clothes. Abyssal Archers live in the darkest of the abyss, lurching and waiting for its next victim to attack. They rarely go up to the surface, but if they do, they get targeted by other large creatures. So it's challenge rating 10, apparently. Let's see.
I would not say 10. For look at that AC and hit points. And the stats.
Yeah.
It's like on the verge of death. 3 strength, 8
This
dex,
thing
7
should
con.
be challenge rating 2 at most. Who knows? Let's see. AC 8, hit points of 35. 3 strength, 8 dex, 7 con, 8 and 8 wisdom, 6 charisma. So not good at anything. Oh, it gets a +3 to intelligence and wisdom saving throws, meaning it gets a +2. It is immune to being grappled for some reason. It's got true sight up to 100 feet, passive perception 10.
That's a sudden change.
Yep. Challenge 10. No, it's not. Traits: bow wielder. The Abyssal Archer can wield any kind of bow it finds or creates and is proficient with it. That should be a given. Sharp Eye. The Abyssal Archer can hit anything accurately that is within 100 feet from where it stands. Add a +3 bonus to its passive wisdom and intelligence. Actions: arrow shot. +3 to hit, range 100, 200 feet. One target hit, 1d4 +3 piercing damage. Volley of arrows, cone-shaped, 50-foot cone. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
+5 hit, range 30 to 50 feet, 5 targets. Oh, okay. So it's a cone, and then you can do the attack on that up to 5 targets within that cone. Okay, that makes sense.
It's so weak, though.
Yeah, raining arrows. Ranged weapon attack, +6 to hit, area of effect. A sphere, range 20 to 30 feet. Okay. Reactions, agile feat. If the Abyssal Archer is being attacked with a physical attack, the Abyssal Archer will dodge the attack and retreat 20 feet away from the original spot. Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Let's keep it challenge rating 10. So let's say we want to keep it challenge rating 10. What we would want to modify to really meet the challenge rating 10.
Well, no, I feel like these guys are mistaken for goblins quite a bit, so they shouldn't be challenge rating 10. This should be Abyssal Cannon fodder.
Abyssal Cannon fodder.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. These are little guys, little archers. They're little cannon fodder. Something that the Abyss will make absolute hordes of to go out, and they get slaughtered down to a man, but they're basically bodies on the battlefield.
All right, so let's say keep it challenge rating 2.
Challenge rating 2. All right. So challenge rating 2, in the challenge rating 2 to 3 range, we can keep...
I would increase their dex.
Well, here's the thing. So let's work our way down from the list. So, first thing, keep the armor. You can keep the armor class and the hit points the same. In fact, armor class would probably go up as the dex does, or give it some form of armor, some sort of set AC. But strength can save the same. Increase dex up to, I would say, 14.
Yep.
And then you can keep the rest of the stats the same. It can be bad at everything else.
Right.
All right. So we got that. Should not if
I would give it a bonus to dex saves.
Yeah, dex saves. Ignore
to intellect.
Yeah, ignore int and wisdom, and then make it proficient in perception as well, just so it has some boost with it.
Get rid of True Sight. Just do Dark Vision up to 120 feet.
Yep. Get rid of the grappled immunity. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It should not have any immunity to any condition.
Yeah.
Get rid of the True Sight. Just make it
speak Abyssal.
do that. Languages. Yep. Make it Abyssal.
I wouldn't make it common. I'd get rid of common and just do Abyssal.
All right. So we got those, and then adjust the challenge rating to 2 or 3. And then proficiency bonus. I probably just do +2, something like that. Now traits. You don't need to have this bow wielder trait. It just has a bow in its stat block. So
yeah,
you can get rid of that. Sharp eye.
Get rid of that too.
Get rid of that. Get rid of all the traits. This should not have any unique traits.
None of the traits.
Now, here's the thing. The arrow shot, replace that with just the weapon. So,
I would do 60, 180.
Well, just have it be a long bow or short bow statistics, like a bandit does with a light crossbow.
Yeah.
Just whatever the weapon they're using is. And then, just do the weapon damage +2 or +3 damage. So a D6, probably a light bow. So a D6 plus Dex is 14, so D6 +2 damage. Now, so that one is pretty good. Now the volley of arrows.
So that one,
cone shape.
What I would do, so I would change it and change the vibe of it, where it's like, all right, make it like a 30-foot cone or like a 15-foot cone kind of thing. So shorten the cone and then just call it like Abyssal Volley. So then it shoots out like Abyssal Arrow. It's more like necrotic damage kind of a thing.
Have them
make it a dex save.
Have them make a dex save. So shorten that range. So have it be a dex save, probably DC, somewhere between DC 10 and 12. I'd say probably DC 10 or 11. Make it a dex save and have it do like the normal piercing damage, which would be up to 1d6 +2. Or just 1d6 because it's saving through. So 1d6 piercing damage plus, let's say, 2 or 3d4 necrotic damage with that.
Yep.
And have it be a little shotgun blast that it can do when things get too close.
And then do a recharge on a 6.
Yeah. Have it do a recharge. And then because it has that shotgun blast, get rid of raining arrows. It doesn't need 2 ranged things. I agree. Because basically it has its normal bow shot when you're far away, and then when you get close, it can do its shotgun blast. That's basically what it is. Get rid of raining arrows. Now this agile feat,
I would switch that instead and just do a bonus action. They get bonus action disengage and dash.
They can bonus action disengage and dash, or if you really wanted to keep this, don't have it dodge the attack. It's just they can use their reaction to move 20 feet away after the attack hits or misses. So if somebody takes a melee attack on them, after the effects of the attack are rolled, whether it hits or misses, then they can use their reaction to move up to 20 feet away.
I like that.
That way you can
decide what the speed is gonna be.
It says 20 feet.
No, I'm talking about its overall speed.
Oh yeah, overall speed probably just 30, 25
30,
or 30.
Yeah. I like that. So just let it use a reaction to do that.
Because I feel like if we got rid of agile feet, we're just basically almost making a whole new monster on its own.
I would do agile feet and bonus action disengage.
Yeah.
Let it do both.
So yeah. Definitely not challenge rating 10. That's how we'd fix that one. I would say, as far as I'm looking, the monsters are harder to fix than the subclasses. Just because of how these people make the monsters.
Right. Still fun to critique.
Yeah.
That. All right, how about this one? On page 5, the top one, it has plus 24 and minus 35.
The Aberki.
Oh, Brewery.
Okay. Alright, description. Aberki usually look like Yuan-Ti nightmare speakers, but fully snake. Their psionic abilities are extremely powerful and can be very useful. Aberki have red, brownish scales and white, milky eyes. Their eyes can change color when the Aberki is trying to hypnotize a creature. Generally, try to imagine a giant snake with a human-shaped torso and head, but with scales covering the entire thing. Okay. So kind of like a Naga a little bit.
Yeah, or like a full Yuan-Ti.
Yeah. Lair and lair actions. Usually inside Yuan-Ti temples, lair actions on initiative count 4. That's random. Losing initiative ties. Aberki takes a lair action, causes one of the following effects. The Aberki can't use the same effect 2 rounds in a row. The Aberki can create a cloud of smoke. Can make a cloud of smoke. Can make all creatures within 20 feet blind for 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. It's basically, I would say, just do fog cloud.
Yeah.
You just get fog cloud on its position.
Yep.
And then the Aberki can change the texture of its surroundings to look the same as an Aberki scales. Okay. Get rid of that. That one can be part of the layer, like the effects it has. Because the effects it has on the domain can be flavorful like that.
Right.
It should be something to help it in a fight.
Yep. So, like, unless you were activating that like an illusion to give it advantage on stealth or something like that,
yes,
like hiding.
Yes,
if you did something like that, then there you go.
Which, yeah.
Or
so
illusion.
I would say, yeah, I'd say get rid of that, or have it do what Andrew just said, which is do that. But so far, this is pretty okay. All right, let's see. Aberki. Large monstrosity, chaotic evil. AC of 17, hit points 279. It's got 45-foot walk and a 35-foot burrow. Okay,
Ooh,
so that's
scary.
This is a tanky boy.
That burrow is going to be the death of everybody.
Yes. And so, judging by that alone and just glancing at this probably needs a challenge rating higher than 10. I would say probably somewhere 12 to 15 is probably going to be my estimate. But let's keep going. 29 strength, 24 dex.
Oh, gosh.
17 con, 13 intelligence, 19 wisdom, 15 charisma. Okay. Typically, the monsters are bulky or dexterous. If this thing is a big snake-like thing, this thing lower that dex down to maybe somewhere 14 to 16. But you can keep the strength if it's meant to be like a big boa constrictor type thing.
Right. I would honestly get rid of the burrow thing entirely.
Yeah, but if you wanted to keep it like a burrowing snake, though, get lower the dex. Because the thing is, if it's like the brown scales, it's probably like those burrowing snakes that burrow in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the theme he's going for. And so I'd keep the burrow speed, and what I would do is choose either strength or dex to keep above 20. And I would say you'll usually only want one stat to be above 20 with monsters like this. Because basically what you're doing, with all these saving throws, you are just going to make your spellcasters hate this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So give it some weaknesses. The charisma, the mental stats are actually fine. Yeah, what I would do is lower the dexterity, bring the strength down to probably 20, maybe 26. So you get a +8. And then bring the con up to 19 or 20. Have it be less dexterous, more bulky. Because it being both is kind of a difficult, I guess.
Right.
But yeah. Saving throws, strength +13, dex +11. Get rid of the dex save. Get rid of the dex save thing. Make it less dexterous, like I said. You can keep the strength one. And then it would be strength +12, because it'd be proficiency +4. Strength +12. And then...
also, I'd probably make this thing huge, rather than just large.
Yeah, make it huge. Make it huge, yeah. And then, I would say replace the dexterity with a dexterity proficiency with wisdom proficiency. If it's going to be...
A spellcaster.
A spellcaster, because it does have spells. Alright. Skills, athletics, +22. No, doesn't need that. It's going to be strength mod plus that. So that should be +13. And then stealth. That one can be artificially higher because if it can camouflage itself.
Right.
What I would probably do though is
I wouldn't do that high though.
Do that high. I would probably say maybe stealth +10, and
right.
then with advantage if it's in its environment.
Yep.
Okay. Damage vulnerabilities, fire. Okay, it's got a vulnerability. That's cool. Damage immunities, acid, poison. I can get behind that. Snake. That's good.
Yep.
Immune to charmed. Grappled, prone, restrained. That all kind of makes sense for a snake boy. Kind of hard to wrangle a big wiggly snake and do it in an effective way. Especially when that snake is massive compared to you. Okay.
Could you clarify where it's like restrained like physically versus magically? Or no?
Not really.
For instance, if Bracos went against this thing and they did the fiery shackles, wouldn't be able to restrain it.
Yep, that is correct.
Alright.
If it failed the saving throw, it would still take all the other effects. That just one specific status effect wouldn't affect it. But yeah. So it's a wiggly boy. So if you're going with more of a... Yep. Alright, let's see. Dark vision, 200 feet. Tremor sense, 100 feet. Passive perception, 18. I can get behind all that. That seems pretty good for a boss monster.
Mm-hmm.
Languages. Abyssal, common, can speak Abyssal and common. You don't need to clarify. You only need to clarify it's if they can't speak it. Challenge rating, probably buff it up a little bit. Based on what your stats are right now, buff it up a little bit. But if you did the nerfs that we talked about, that'd probably be fine. Underdark. Underdark Origins. The Apothecary has advantage when in the Underdark. Okay. Get rid of that.
Yeah, I'd get rid of it entirely.
Get rid of that, because you need to specify it has advantage on what? Advantage on everything? Way too strong. Way too doing that. And is it specifically the Underdark? What makes it have advantage in the Underdark? If it's just in a random cave, does that count? If it... Yeah. Gotta just...
I would just say
just scrap
everything that we talked about.
Yep. Alright, here we go. The Apothecary is a 6th level spellcaster. Its spellcasting ability is Strength. Don't do that.
No.
Don't
do that.
If it has to be a physical stat, the only one that would really work for spellcasting is Constitution. Make it Wisdom.
Just do Wisdom.
Yeah, Wisdom is already high. It would already have these DCs that you're talking about. Although the DC would be 16 plus 8 to hit. But make it wisdom. And then has the following warlock spells prepared. Cantrips. It's got chill touch and poison spray. That's fine. First level, hellish rebuke and unseen servant. Okay. If this thing is vulnerable to fire, it should not be spewing fire.
I agree.
Unseen servant, that could be cool. It probably has a unseen servant carrying things around for it, like a little butler. I like that. That's cool. So let's find another. Let's find another first level spell to replace Hellish Rebuke. I would say, if we're going across for the more hypnotic thing that it was doing, give it command.
Yeah.
Give it command. Oh,
I like
think
command.
Yeah. So replace Hellish Rebuke with command. Okay. Second level is Darkness, Rave Enfeeblement, and Spider Climb. Okay. Spider Climb is gonna make that encounter pretty darn scary, but is Spider Climb concentration?
Yes.
It is? Okay. Because it's concentration, I would say that's actually pretty good. I like that.
Cause it to fall.
Yeah. Alrighty. Also, you should not have more higher level slots than you do lower level slots. So it should literally be 222, 222, 111. Because you should not have one 5th level slot and 3 6th level slots.
I agree.
I think what the writer is thinking is it's got 2 slots, which means 2 spells. No.
Right.
No.
It has 1 slot and it can pick from its spell list.
Yeah. So I would actually go
2 2 2.
I would
1,
do
1, 1.
I would do 3 3 actually 3 3 2 1 1 1 is what I would do. Or if you wanted to make it more powerful, 3 3 3 3 2 1 1 is what I would do. If you wanted it to be more powerful, but I think 3 3 2 2 1 1 is probably the best. Or sorry, 3 3 2 1 1 1.
I would still stick with just the 2 2 2 1
2
1,
2
1.
2 1 1 1. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, both could work. Just depends on how strong you want to make it. But either way, so let's go. Let's change it to that. So first, second, third level, they get 2 slots, and fourth, fifth, and sixth, they get 1 slot each per day. All right. So replace Hellish Rebuke with command. Second level slots: Darkness, Rave, Enfeeblement, and Spider Climb. I'm fine with each of those. Third level spots: Vampiric Touch and Hypnotic Pattern. Okay, so Vampiric Touch is a little out of place. Vampiric Touch is very much a more necromancy, fiendish one. That one feels a little out of place with me. So I would probably do instead. So once again, we're going with the yeah, we're going with the hypnotist vibe. You could do probably an enchantment spell. Is probably what you'd want. Enchantment.
You could do antagonize.
Yeah, antagonize.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, enchantment or illusion could also work.
Dude, look at what antagonize does. I think that'd be a fun one.
Okay, yeah. I'd say yeah. Give it antagonize.
Make it hit your friend
Yep.
or disadvantage.
Yep. And let's see. 4th level, banishment, hallucinatory terrain.
Get rid of banishment.
Get rid of banishment.
Yeah.
Would we replace it with anything or just keep it as 1?
What does hallucinatory terrain do again?
Hallucinatory terrain. You make a natural terrain in a 150-foot cube in range look, sound, and smell like some other sort of natural terrain. Thus, open fields or a road can made to resemble a swamp, hill, crevasse, or some difficult or impassable terrain. Pond can be made to seem like a grassy meadow, a precipice like a gentle slope, or a rock-strewn gully like a wide and smooth road. Manufactured structures, equipment, and creatures within the area aren't changed in appearance. The tactile characteristics of the terrain are unchanged, so creatures entering the area are likely to see through the illusion. If the difference isn't obvious by touch, a creature carefully examining illusion can attempt an investigation check against your spell save DC to disbelieve it. Creature who discerns the illusion for what it is sees it as a vague image superimposed on the terrain. So it's something you could use as a trickery thing. Make a deep pit look like a shallow river.
Yeah, so I like that. And then I would do like confusion instead.
Confusion?
Yeah.
With the hypnotic eyes, making them confused? Yeah. I would say, yeah. Replace banishment with confusion. 5th level is dream. Let's see. Shapes creatures' dreams. Okay, something to not use in combat, but something to antagonize them outside of it.
And it's anywhere on the same plane of existence.
Yeah. So yeah, something to just harass the party.
I like that.
And then 6th level. Flesh to Stone, Circle of Death, and Mass Suggestion. Get rid of Flesh to Stone, get rid of Circle of Death, just keep Mass Suggestion, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree.
Just do that. Get rid of the other 2.
Yep.
Alrighty. Now, actions. Constrict. The apothecary can choose a creature within 30 feet of it. That creature must make a DC 16 dex save or be grappled until the end of its next turn. The apothecary can only constrict one creature of its time. Okay. Any sort of constrict. It
should have a range.
It needs to be an attack roll. Constricting like that needs to be an attack roll. And there should and grapples should not have a set duration. They should be until they escape. Because it's weird that it would just let it go.
Yeah. Just make it a 5-foot attack, add some bludgeoning damage to it.
Yep. Well, if it's a snake, you could probably get away with 10 or 15 feet.
True.
Yeah.
Especially if we made it huge.
Yep. And then you get Venomous Fang, 5-hit reach, 2d8 plus 8 poison damage. No, give it 2d8 plus 8 piercing damage, plus like 2 or 3d6 poison damage.
Yep.
If it's biting, it should do the piercing damage as well.
And it doesn't have multi-attack, so...
Yes, it does not have multi-attack. If you want it to be really strong, give it the multi-attack as well. Excuse me. Let it do the Venomous Fang. Also, all the attacks should have the same modifier to hit.
Yep.
You're just making it harder on yourself as the DM. Okay. So, but yeah, so you get those, and basically what I would do, multi-attack, it can make a Fang and a Spear attack, and then it can also replace the Spear attack with the Constrict, if it wants to. So it makes 2 attacks.
I agree.
Alright, Venomous Spear, Oh, it is a ranged attack. The spear is. Okay. On a target, it takes 2d6 plus 5 poison / piercing damage. Okay. You need to specify how much poison, how much piercing. Because for things that people that have resistances...
So that's weird range, too.
Yeah, really weird range. Bring it in the standard range.
180.
Yes. And, probably, like, I would say,
Or
yeah.
it hits 2 targets, it says.
Yeah. This one just doesn't make sense. We gotta overhaul this whole attack. So, make it a spear that he can stab with at melee range if he wants to. And then give it the thrown property because it's a spear. And then give it the thrown range of a normal thing. So probably 30 to 60 feet.
Mm-hmm.
One target, because hitting 2 targets just doesn't really make sense. And then give it the ability that it returns to his hand when he throws it. That it returns to his hand after he throws it, so that way he could keep throwing it.
Right. Either make
And
it
then-
magical, or like it's like hardened venom that he pulls out or something.
Yes. And then also make it 2d6 plus 8 piercing damage. And then plus the poison damage, which will be less than the bite's poison damage. So if the bite's poison damage is like 3d6, let's say it's 2d6 or 2d4 or something like that. Poison damage for it.
Mm-hmm.
Reactions. All right. Hypnotic rattle. An Abakurai can choose a creature within 50 feet of it. Once again, a really weird range. Do it in increments of 15 feet.
Yeah.
That's the standard for D&D.
So just change it to 30 feet.
Yeah, 30. Yeah, increments of 30 feet, but with there's a couple exceptions. Yeah, an Abakurai can choose a creature within 50 feet of it that can hear and may rattle its tail. The creature must make a DC 18 intelligence saving throw, be charmed by the Abakurai for 5 hours or until it cannot hear. Okay. First
Why
things
is that
first.
a reaction?
If it's a reaction, what triggers the reaction? You need something that triggers the reaction. This should be a legendary action.
I agree.
This should be a legendary action or a full action on its own.
Yep.
But
I would say legendary action.
Yeah, given the fact that it has so many actions it can choose from, make it a legendary action.
Yep.
So you do that, and then you gotta specify what does the charm do.
Is it making them mobilized, like incapacitated? Are they turning against their friends? Are they walking towards them?
Yeah,
Are they...
I would say just given the theme, because this has a very heavy snake charmer theme.
Right.
So I'm gonna say what it should do is they're basically stunned and just hypnotized, almost
I
like
agree.
hypnotic gaze, and then another party member can use their action to
To
shake
wake
them
them.
free, to wake them, and yeah, and then the time limit.
If they take damage, then
Yeah, and then if they take damage,
from
they can do
any
it.
source other than the Abercrombie or whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of like a harpy. If a harpy starts attacking, it won't wake them.
Yeah. So yeah, do that, and then yeah.
Also,
so make,
I would say 1 minute, not 5 hours.
yeah, 1 minute. Yeah. So yeah, bring that down into legendary reactions. Give him no special reactions. For him, an opportunity attack is enough.
Yep.
All right. Now here, you need to specify how many legendary actions does it have. I say always give them. Oh, the other thing I would do is when they save against the hypnotic gaze, make them immune to it for and make them immune to it for an hour or so.
Yeah.
So they have that. So you're not just spamming it until day's gone. All right. So you need to specify how many legendary actions there are. Standard, I would say give them 3 legendary actions. All right. And I would
also, do you think the hypnotic rattle, it can only target one person at a time?
Yes. It technically does say that. Choose a creature within 50 feet. Yeah, it's not a 50-foot radius.
But it's saying as a reaction, and then for 5 hours. So in other words, this could also be implied that, all right, I did it against that creature. Now I'm going to do it against this one too. Now I'm going to do it against this one too. Because I get reactions every turn. And if it lasts longer than 5 hours, it's implied that
I would say it has to keep... It
can only have maximum of 1 target at a time.
Yeah. I would say if it can only have 1 target at a time, then we can get rid of the being immune to it for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because it would have to keep its focus on that hypnotic pattern at that certain person.
Yep.
Okay.
Not concentration though, it just does it.
Yeah, just 1 at a time. All right. So, with that, also change the intelligence saving throw to wisdom save, because domination type stuff is wisdom, and hypnosis type stuff is wisdom save.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I would do, well, let's see what this is. So hypnotic blast costs 5 actions, okay?
But it doesn't specify how many actions you get.
Yeah, so we can determine that once we figure out what this does.
Okay.
The Abakurai lets out an ultrasonic blast. Every creature within 100 feet must make a DC 18 wisdom save or be charmed by the Abakurai for 2 days. At the end of each creature's go, the creature takes 3d6 psychic damage. If Abakurai uses this attack, it becomes stunned until the end of its next go. All right. That ability does not make sense.
Nope, doesn't at all.
You got to fix the language on it, buddy. Got to fix language on it.
And from what I do understand, it's contradicting itself.
Yes.
You're charmed for 2 days, but you're also stunned until the end of your next turn.
Yes. Okay, so we got to completely overhaul that.
Yeah.
So here's what you do. So you have your legendary actions. Let's give the Abrakeri let's give him 3 legendary actions. The hypnotic rattle works on it costs 1 legendary action, and the hypnotic blast costs 2. Now, what you need to do is drastically reduce that range. Every creature within 30 feet must make the DC 18. You can keep that DC 18 wisdom saving throw. And get rid of the charm. Keep the 3d6 psychic damage. And then if they fail, they get stunned.
Until the end of their next turn.
Until the end of their next turn.
I like that.
And then keep the psychic damage. So it's like you're overwhelming the senses.
Right. But yeah, get rid of the charmed.
Yeah, get rid of the charmed. Too many charmed things.
Also, there's no way that this would be a challenge rating 10. I'd put this up more like challenge rating 15, 16.
Yeah, somewhere 13 to 16 range. So yeah, that is how I would fix it. I would also change the name to something more easily pronounced. And why is it?
I know the quote.
Quotations. It needs to be an apostrophe.
I thought it was a typo, but in the description they wrote it like 3 times.
Yeah, so change that to an apostrophe. Yeah, this has a lot of potential, but as it stands, there's some conflicting themes, conflicting stats you have with its themes, missing information, and incorrect language when it comes to the game, because the thing is obviously there's implied. Obviously, like, there's implied things when it's saying, stunned until the end of its next go. I verbally, I can understand what that means. But when it comes to designing something that other people need to go and play, you need the language to be exactly like it is in the core rule books. All the terminology needs to be the same. My very first, for example, my very first version of the Skydancer, fighter. It got reviewed by a streamer, Cinderblock Sally. He went in and he reviewed it while I was watching, and he ripped my language a new a-hole. Yep. I love him. He's just like, for example, he's like, everybody, the Skydancers, every single weapon you wield gains the finesse perk. And he says, there's no such thing as the finesse perk. It is the finesse property. Not a perk, it is the property. And he says, that sounds like a small thing, but it makes a very big difference when in terms of the actual game design.
Yep.
Now, and so you have to use the language that is present. That is present in the save. Like, it's like that one thing that we saw in the when we were looking at the other day, when we were looking at the subclasses, where that person was saying melee basic attack. That means nothing in the context of D&D.
Yeah.
That means nothing.
Right.
And so yeah. So you got to fix up that language. Overall, you have got a great foundation, and the changes, relatively speaking, are small and easy to fix. But the main reason why you got such a low rating on this Dungeon Master 2555 is just as is. It's not wholly connected together, and it's the language isn't clear enough in a couple spots. And then
slight balancing issues.
Yeah, slight balancing issues.
You got to change that challenge rating.
Yeah, you just got some balancing issues, and then some missing information. But you've got a really solid foundation here. It's pretty darn good. But yeah, those changes are holding you back because, while they're easy to fix, those missing things are significant enough for me to cross the border and say I wouldn't want to put this in my game at all. They're simple enough to fix, but not small enough that I would be willing as a dungeon master to throw this in my game and just mentally change how it works on the fly. You got to rebalance this to make it easier to plug and play. And then, of course, change the initiative count. On initiative count 20, the initiative count 4 doesn't make any sense on the lair action. Yeah, solid foundation. Make those changes, and I think you got something that could actually get quite a bit positive rating.
Right.
Okay, we've been streaming for about 2.25 hours. Let's do one more.
Okay. I'm going through. I'm on page 11 right now. I'm looking for ones that have a lot of both positive and negative.
Well, I have one here on that same page 5, called Addle Heart. It's got 1 plus and 12 down. But 713 people have viewed it.
All right, page 3 still?
Page 5.
Page 5. Say the name again?
Addle Heart. Challenge rating 14. It's near the bottom.
Addle Heart. There it is.
Okay, let's read that thing first. A floating mass of crystalline spirits. Naturally, they would be immune to many and all melee attacks, so they have a slight weakness, a certain metal that chunks away at them, hastily melded spirits. Traveling around in mausoleums, crypts, sewers, and any decrepit and moldy dungeon, they avoid sunlight like the plague, as they would evaporate upon a slight sliver reached upon them, never to exist again. Okay.
Good to know. If I cast daylight, they'll die instantly.
They'll die instantly. I am a fan of monsters with weaknesses like that.
Right. So it's a huge undead.
It is huge undead. All right.
Armor class already. No. Ew. Gross.
Okay. Here's the thing. If you need it to be extremely difficult to hit, just say, keep it. Its armor class should be the thing, because it's like melee. Armor class is not just for melee attacks. Armor class also works with spell attacks. And judging by the description, spell attacks should do it. So if it needs to be hard to hit, make it anywhere AC 18 to 22.
Yep.
Somewhere AC 18 to 22, because this, completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
That AC, completely unacceptable.
Oh, so why is it huge?
It's a basically an amalgamation of crystalline spirits.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say let's do like 21. Let's say 21.
Yeah. Let's make it 21. And then because we lowered that, I would say just depending on its nature, it seems like it's like crystalline, almost like glass-ish. So you could keep the hit points the same at 95, and have it shatter a bit easier.
Right.
So that could be perfectly fine. And then you could just throw more of that. Speed, 60 feet. So it's a walking speed of 60 feet. This is a very big and fast thing. Okay. So... Alright, so we did that. Let's see. Strength 12, Dex 22, 21 Con, 9 and 8 Wisdom, 24 Charisma. Okay. So this thing is very... very fast. This seems like a large... frail thing, so I think it's going for that glass aesthetic, right. that kind of glass theme.
Non-corporeal, that means that it can go through objects.
Yeah. All right. Saving throws: Dex plus 11, Con plus 10, Charisma plus 12. That is perfectly fine. And then damage immunities: bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. See, you got that on there. Because you have this, you do not need that armor class.
Right.
Literally nothing in the game should have that armor class. I know players can technically achieve that, but those players just want to mess with their DM.
Right.
And so it's like, yeah, so yeah, that armor class should never be a thing.
Then again, if it's shooting for level 14, or at level 14, we could probably keep the... Because it's challenge rating 14. If the health is only 95, I'd be okay with the AC being even higher at like 24. If it only has 95 hit points, 24 isn't too bad for a level 14 player. By then, too, pretty much everybody's going to have a magic weapon.
Yeah. No, I would say...
Or keep it 21 and buff those hit points.
Either buff the hit points or make it... Actually, no, because its damage is pretty high. So, yeah. So, yeah. I would say...
Make it a glass cannon. Just do 24. But if you do hit it, you freaking wreck house with it.
Yeah. Up the AC. Nothing should ever... No armor class should ever exceed 25. 25 should be the absolute max.
Well, just think about it, because like my level 7 sorcerer can reach... He has a +8 to hit. So at a 24, I'd be able to hit it if I rolled 16 or above.
Yeah, so you're still more likely to miss than hit.
But what I mean is, at level 14, I would probably have around like a plus... What would that be? Like a +10 to hit? Because her proficiency bonus would be up 2 more.
Yes, but the thing is we also have not gone over how much damage it can do.
Fair. Yeah, so let's keep going.
Yeah. All right.
Condition immunity.
Condition: immune to charm, deafen, exhaustion, fighting, grappled, incapacitated, poison, pwn, restrained, stunned, and unconscious. As an incorporeal thing, yeah, that's all pretty
That's fair.
good. Senses: unknown. Nope, you don't get to do that. This is not for the players. This is for the DM. You got to put in this. You got to put in the senses.
Yep.
This is purely for the DM, so nothing can be unknown. Even if
I
it's a
agree.
mysterious creature, the DM needs to know every single facet down to the
Yep.
last minute detail. So senses, give it dark vision or blind sight.
I would do blind sight up to like 30 feet.
Yeah. And then
Or
yeah,
60.
you don't get to do unknowns. These monster stat blocks are DM tools, not player tools.
Passive perception 23.
Okay. Languages,
Why?
all. Nope. I would go, if you're going with the theme, a floating mass of crystalline spirits. I would say if is it a mass of all individual spirits, then languages, any of those spirits new in life.
So it
There you
depends on
go.
where it is in the world.
Yeah, depends on where it is in the world. We'll ignore those for now. All right, traits. Sunlight's Kiss. If this creature is to be in any square that has sunlight, direct or not, on that square, this creature would be instantly defeated without rewarding anything but a possible item drop. Okay. You don't need to include rewards in the stat block. That's for the DM to decide. You making the stat block don't get to decide what the rewards are, other than the XP for challenge rating. And if any gear is included in the stat block.
Yep.
All right. So what I would do, because this could be so easily abused, just have it take damage every time it comes into contact with sunlight. Basically, at the start of each of its turns, if any sunlight is touching it, have it take damage.
Yep.
Because an instant win button is just going to make this frustrating to play. Because like you said, cast a daylight spell, instant win. It's just not going to be that much fun for the DM.
Yeah.
Alright, and then Moonlight's Kiss. If the creature is to be in any square that has moonlight, direct or not in that square, the creature would receive an extra +5 to armor class, making it harder to hit. Especially with your armor class, never.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. That is...
Get rid of that.
Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Make it regenerate health in Moonlight. Take damage in sunlight, regenerate health in Moonlight.
And have it be the same either way.
Yeah. So take, let's say, 2d8 fire damage. 2d8
Or 2d8.
2d8 fire damage in sunlight, or 2d8 healing in for every turn it's in Moonlight.
Yep.
All right. Actions: unresting nature. Choose any two of these attacks per round. Like we said with the language, change that to multi-attack.
Yep, just
Alright.
multi-attack.
Let's see. Corporeal Clap. Melee weapon attack +5 to hit. Reach 30 feet, one target. 2d10 +5 necrotic damage. Okay.
Alright.
And then let's do this. Okay, Essence Drain. Ranged weapon attack. Guaranteed to hit? Never.
No, never.
There's only
Never,
one
never.
monster that gets guaranteed to hit, and it's for a very thematic purpose. This hit 3d12 +4 necrotic damage, healing the Addle Heart for that much damage. Make this a con save. It's siphoning off life. It needs to be a con save.
Yep.
Make this a con save. Let's see.
And I would say like 60 feet.
Yep. Ethereal Lance, ranged weapon attack, +10 to hit. Once again, all these plus to hits need to be the same. Range 45, 90 feet. Target hit 3d20 +10 necrotic damage. You already have the Essence Drain. You've already got a ranged attack. Get rid of Ethereal Lance. You don't need it.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't need it.
There are 3 ranged weapon attacks.
And Rending Flesh, ranged weapon attack, +5 to hit. 3 targets, hit 2d100 +20 necrotic
Ew, gross.
damage.
No.
Get rid of both of these.
Yeah, get rid of both of those.
These do not Ethereal Lance, just get rid of that. You already got the range thing in terms of Essence Drain. You don't need another one. Don't need another range attack. And Rending Flesh just does not fit with the design philosophy of the game. That's just too much. You're saying you can do anywhere from 22, a minimum of 22 damage for up to 220 damage. You should never be able to do that much damage on a hit naturally without some combination of stacking abilities, vulnerabilities, and all that kind of stuff. You should never be doing this. An ability like this is, I hate my players and I want them to die. So get rid of these two things instantly.
So what I would do is I would say it can either make 2 claps or 1 clap and 1 essence drain.
Yes. Yeah. Although, because the essence drain is a saving throw, there would be no reason for it to do... there'd be no reasons for it to do 2 claps, because the essence drain doesn't get disadvantage in melee, and it just does more damage. So, you don't even need to specify that. So yeah, get rid of both these attacks. Rending Flesh, because it should not exist in D&D. And Ethereal Lance, because it's... because you've already got your range attack covered. Now, one of the things is... So make the Essence Drain, keep the same damage, heal for half the damage, and then on a successful save, it takes half damage, and you still heal for half of the half damage, so a quarter of the damage is what you'd heal for. Because with its low hit points, it should still be healing.
Yeah.
And then...
I can get behind that.
And then Corporeal Clap, reduce that 30-foot range to a 15-foot range.
Yep.
Because just so you actually have some battlefield maneuverability. Make the battlefield more dynamic. And then Essence Drain, 60 feet.
Yep. 60 or... Yeah, I would say 60.
Yep. Alright, let's see. Reactions. Enduring Pain. If this creature is to be hit for critical damage instead of being hit, Adelheart is to teleport away immediately, taking no damage that round. This happens every time a critical hit is to be dealt to Adelheart and can only be activated once every 2 rounds. Okay. That's a special feature. This, you put it in reactions. This is not a reaction if it has how many times it can do it. Reactions is something it can do every single round as a thing. So, get rid of the whole critical hit damage thing. Give it a feature, because it is glass but also non-corporeal. Give it a feature called, like, Corporeal Escape or something like that, to just make it immune to crits. Crits still hit, but it doesn't take the extra damage. Like, it's like wearing adamantine armor, if you want it to be sturdier.
Yep.
And then, just get rid of this. Get rid of it. It's already got a 60-foot speed. It's really hard to hit. It doesn't need to teleport.
I agree.
Doesn't need to teleport. Just give it an adamantine-like trait that it's immune to crits. Then legendary actions. If the monster is to be in direct contact with moonlight, once again, clear up the language. Just say when Adelheart is being touched by moonlight. Then this creature can cast Archaic Memory. The Adelheart can use this action only once per moon cycle. Once again, if this has a special thing, that makes it not a legendary action.
Yep.
It makes it something else. And once per moon cycles is also very vague. Give it a very strict thing. At once every 1d4 days. Once every week. Resets once a day. Can't be vague things. Once per moon cycle. What if the planet has 2 moons? Like, you gotta make this as universal as possible. Give us clear math that we can use. You
Yep.
can't leave anything up to interpretation when it comes to stat blocks. It has to be, this is what it does, specifically and concisely. Yeah, there can't be any of this. But let's see what it does. Costs 1 action, 1 legendary action. So
I don't like it.
So yeah, so let's say, as Adelhart reminisces about their past existences, all damage Adelhart does to the target is granted an extra 15 lightning damage. This will last for 3 rounds. At the end of the Adelhart's 3rd round, after this action is spent, Adelhart is to explode, causing 5d8 piercing damage to all within 60 feet. The players do not receive experience this way. Once again, okay. First thing is... This ability just doesn't make sense with your whole theme.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't make sense at
Also,
all.
why does reminiscing about their past existences add lightning damage?
Yes, lightning damage doesn't fit the theme, and this action can only once per moon cycle. Apparently, it can only ever do this action once.
Ever.
Ever.
Yeah, because it will die.
Another thing, don't tell the DM what to do. You don't get to tell what the DMs
you
can
give
and can't.
suggestions like optional
Yeah,
kind of a thing. Kind of like what Jess did.
yeah, but don't just flat out tell the DM what to do. You're giving them something to use in their games, and they can use it how they want. And me, I don't do experience. We do milestone. And so this is not anyway. So just don't ever include things like this in the stat blocks. If you want to include things like this, do suggestions down in the description. Never put any of this stuff in the actual stat block.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So this whole ability just does not work. It just
I trash it
it
entirely.
does. I would trash it completely.
It doesn't
What-
need legendary actions,
It
honestly.
doesn't need legendary actions. You can lower down the challenge rating because we got rid of those 2 attack things. Lower down the challenge rating somewhere to 8 to 12 range.
I'd probably say 10,
Yeah,
just because of the high AC.
yeah, the 8 to 12 range. But I do like, if you want to keep this glass aesthetic, yeah, get rid of archaic memory. It just doesn't fit. It feels like you had a lot of ideas, and it's not, they're not coming together. I feel like this would make sense for jailbait. This is something that makes sense in your head, and that the communication is just not translating. Maybe if you were to explain it to me verbally, I would understand what you're going for.
Right.
But at the information that you have given me, it doesn't make sense thematically. The lightning damage comes out of nowhere, does nothing, makes 0 sense whatsoever. Why does reminisce about their past existence add lightning damage? Why does it even need to reminisce? Why does it only work in moonlight? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But
I'd get rid of the moonlight stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So what I would do... Now, here's what I would do. Get rid of the whole sunlight, moonlight thing as a whole. You wanted a glass ghost thing. Actually, no. I'd say keep the healing in moonlight and damage in sunlight. Keep, like, the glass ghost thing. Have it, like, start melting in sunlight. Like it's glass or ice. Kind of like ice things. Now, here's what I would do. If you want it, because there's one thing about the archaic memory that I like. Bring it up into the traits feature. When it dies, it explodes, and they have to make a dex save or take that 5d8 piercing damage or half as much on a successful save. Every
And
enemy...
not within 60 feet.
No, within 30 feet. So, upon death, all those glass shards shatter out. You can keep that. Get rid of everything to do with the memory. Get rid of everything to do with that. Because, once again, I feel I sound like I'm being harsh. It's just I like making monsters, but like there's certain things that just don't work. Like I'm trying to imagine myself running this, and as is with what's in front of me, it seems like there's no point in building an encounter for this creature because there are two things that give it instant death that it can do whenever. It just doesn't work. Once again, if you're explaining to me verbally, if you're explaining this to me verbally, I could probably understand what you're doing and like what the lore behind it is and why it does what it does. But with the information that is sitting right in front of me, it just doesn't fit together. It just doesn't fit together. It feels like a bunch of haphazard ideas that sound cool in concept but work better across different monsters.
Yeah.
It feels like you change your mind halfway through, and then the attacks itself are just the ones that you have on there. Ethereal Lance is unnecessary, and Rending Flesh. Nothing should ever use a D100 for any roll unless it's on a D100 table, like a Wild Magic Surge or something. Unless it's determining a random effect.
Never be for attack.
Yeah, a D100 should never ever be used for damage or attack rolls or anything.
I think there's some explosives that do D100s of damage, though.
Maybe. I could be wrong. But as a monster attack that it can just do every turn, like, why would I ever do 2d10 plus 5 necrotic damage if I could just do 2d100 plus 20? That is guaranteed to be more damage if I can do any of those attacks.
Yeah.
So with Rending Flesh, it literally makes everything else on its stat block completely useless to the point of you would never ever use it unless unless it was intentionally pulling its punches, which, given what it technically is, I doubt it would.
I like the vision of this creature, though. I'm like,
the aesthetic is on point.
Well, the modifications we made to it, I'd like to fight one. I think it sounds like fun. But with those modifications. Without the modifications, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. As is, with what you presented, this is borderline unplayable. And with the parts that are playable, it's just not fun. Not fun for me, the DM, keeping track of this, and being able to have two instant win buttons. Because the thing is it's just like, oh, it can use a legendary action to explode. Well, judging by how much damage it can do, you would be crazy to put this thing with any other monster. So, legendary action, encounter's over.
Yeah.
It just does not work.
I just like more excuses to be able to use the daylight spell.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I don't get to use it that often, or I just don't use it that often.
Yeah.
I use the light one all the time.
So monsters this strong that are supposed to be this late in the game should not have instant win buttons. Unless that instant win button is one of your players doing something really cool. Instant win buttons should not be baked into the stat block.
Right.
Yeah. So it's so it requires a lot of work. The aesthetic is there, but it requires a lot of work, and you just got to get rid of a lot of the stuff. There's a lot of unnecessary. You got to trim the fat. Yeah, that's how I would go about with this one. Man, I didn't realize I'd be getting this critical about monsters. All right.
It comes with the territory.
Yep, but I think that's where we're gonna call it for tonight. You guys good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Okay.
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Thank you to everybody who tuned in, lurking or otherwise. Huge shout out. Thank you to Tabletop Audio once more for allowing us to use the background tracks. And check out our merch store, just D4Tress.com, and check out our Patreon. You'll get exclusive Discord access, shoutouts and streams and videos, and at the highest tier, a permanent discount on everything in our merch store. So there's all that kind of stuff. And with the Discord access, you can just hang out with us on there from time to time. Sometimes we'll just post on there once we, get some people in that Discord and just talk with some people. And there is chances at there is the chance that you could be playing some games with us on stream. And who knows, maybe down the road when we actually can dedicate much more time to this and we can stream on like random weekdays and stuff. Who knows? Maybe we'll throw together like one-shots for patrons or something like that. Who knows?
Sounds like
We'll
fun.
see. We'll see where it takes it. And speaking of patrons, I'll go and do my narrating voice.
Thank you, D4 Fan and Brennan, for your continued support. It is a great honor to have you supporting us, and we appreciate that you enjoy our content enough to be able to spend some of your hard-earned cash on helping us thrive.
Ishnu Allah, weary traveler.
Erica hates ASMR.
And with that, we are going to...
Going to what? Don't leave me hanging.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you all next time on next Wednesday, where we will continue with the Oddities
Oddity.
campaign, Birdcage Part 2. So we'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.